Our society has been captivated time and again by famous disappearances, including that of Elizabeth Smart, Lacey Peterson, and Polly Claus. It's been reported that on average 90,000 people are missing in the United States at any given time. While many of them end up being found, alive or dead, many others remain missing to this day. Have you ever wondered which state has the most missing people? Huffington Post provided data on that topic as the result of a study. In this video, we'll highlight the 15 states with the dubious distinction of having most open missing person cases per 100,000 people. Number 1. Alaska. More than 10 missing persons per 100,000 people. A runner vanished into thin air during the Mount Marathon race in 2012. Maybe it's because the state of Alaska holds such a vast amount of wilderness, but it has a rate of missing persons almost twice the national average. The state also holds the record of the highest percentage of missing people who are never found. There is even a section of the state compared to the Bermuda Triangle because people go missing at an eerily high rate. One baffling missing persons case in Alaska involves Michael Lemaitre, a 66-year-old grandfather who took part in Alaska's annual Mount Marathon race on July 4th, 2012. The popular race was 3.5 miles long, and the runner's route went partially up Mount Marathon and back. The winner finished in under 45 minutes, and it was noted that Lemaitre was still laboring towards the top 3 hours after the race began. The weather was cold and wet, but race officials determined he was doing fine, so they decided to wait for Lemaitre towards the finish line. He was never seen again. After 6 hours, when he still hadn't approached the finish line, a search ensued. When no results turned up, the Alaska National Guard came with a helicopter, but it turned up nothing. During more weeks' worth of searching, many theories were pursued, but to this day, his whereabouts remain a complete mystery. His daughter Marianne came from Utah to join in the search. She engraved on a rock the designated turnaround point for runners in the race. "I love you, Dad." Number 2. Arizona. Number of reported missing persons, 2,000. An 11-year-old girl vanished while waiting for the ice cream truck and is still missing 18 years later. Arizona joins Alaska as having more than 10 open missing person cases per 100,000 people. The state even has an annual Missing in Arizona Day to try and help families desperately looking to find their loved ones. One particularly troubling, long-standing Arizona case is that of Mikkel Biggs, who disappeared at the age of 11 on January 2nd, 1999, while waiting for the ice cream truck. The hazel-eyed, blonde-haired girl could hear the truck's music and eagerly awaited its arrival so she could buy her favorite gumball popsicle. She waited while riding her 9-year-old sister Kimber's bicycle in circles at the top of her street. It was getting dark, so Mikkel's mother told Kimber to tell her to come in. When Kimber went outside to get Mikkel, all she found was the white bike with purple ribbons on the ground, its wheels still spinning, and the 2 quarters Kimber was holding for the popsicle lying in the street. A massive search ensued. While more than 800 pieces of evidence were collected and about 10,000 tips were received, no solid evidence of what happened to the girl has ever been uncovered, and no suspect has ever been identified. She still remains missing today. Number 4. Washington. Washington has 5 to 7 missing persons for every 100,000. In 2010, a 39-year-old woman left her apartment and her cats to run errands. She was never seen again. Another state in the Northwest, Washington, was noted for having a high number of missing persons. It was categorized by Huffington Post as having between 5 and 7 missing persons for every 100,000. A baffling case is that of South Spokane resident Heather Higgins, who was 39 when she was last seen on September 20th, 2010, leaving her apartment with a friend. Later, when Higgins couldn't be reached, her mother, Jackie Fournier, went to her home and found nothing amiss. When asked, the friend said he had dropped Higgins back off at home after they ran errands. As far as the possibility of Higgins intentionally disappearing, she would never have intentionally left her beloved cats behind. For months after her daughter's disappearance, Fournier would fall asleep with a cordless phone in her hand, hoping to hear from her telling her how she vanished without a trace. Although detectives have had leads, the case remains unsolved, and Higgins remains missing to this day. Number 5. Nevada. In Las Vegas alone, 60 to 80 people go missing every weekend. One man disappeared in 2009 after walking away from his car filled with wrapped Christmas presents. In Nevada, people go missing in the big cities and remote area alike, often for different reasons. The state is known for the Nevada Triangle, a desert area where up to 2,000 planes have vanished over the past 50 years, some never to be found. One man disappeared in the city of Henderson, Nevada, in 2009 under mysterious circumstances. Stephen Kocher, then 30 years old, had recently relocated from Utah. His car was found abandoned, parked on a suburban dead-end street. The last known images of Kocher were captured on a neighbor's security camera. He is seen in the black and white video walking down the sidewalk and crossing the street. He had bought Christmas presents for his family at a Kmart the day before he was seen on camera walking away. The presents were found wrapped in his abandoned car, along with a pile of resumes, a shaving kit, blankets, and pillows. Number 6. Idaho. Many become lost over the years in Idaho's 4.8 million acres of wilderness. One toddler disappeared in broad daylight when camping in 2015. Idaho comes in as third for the state with the most acres of wilderness, with a total of 4.8 million acres of trees and wildlife. That surely has something to do with Idaho having such a high number of missing persons. Every few days, another person is added to a Facebook page devoted to the Idaho missing persons. Fortunately, some of the people are found safe, and the page is updated to reflect that. One of many who have disappeared into the Idaho wilderness over the years was a toddler named Deor Kunz Jr., who was on a family camping trip that turned tragic. At first, there was confusion when he couldn't be found by his parents at Idaho's Timber Creek campground. They had initially thought he was nearby with his grandfather. Authorities were called and a search ensued, bringing up no results. No evidence of an abduction or animal attack was ever found. Fingers have been pointed at the child's parents, who have denied any wrongdoing, and who continue to search for their son. The toddler's whereabouts remain unknown to this day. Number 7. Montana. 142 people are on the Montana Department of Justice's missing persons list. A 20-year-old Native American woman's family continues to search for her every day since she disappeared in June of 2017. The list of people missing from Montana includes everyone from potential murder victims to runaways. Like with some of the other more rural states, there are many places to disappear among the mountains and valleys in the wilderness. Ashley Loring Heavy Runner, age 20, vanished from the Blackfeet Reservation in Montana in June of 2017. Her last known whereabouts were Native American Bank. Since then, her family has been looking for her. For months, her older sister Kimberly Loring has been putting up flyers, searching on social media, and taking calls from tipsters. Nearly every day, search parties set out in the Rocky Mountains situated to the west of the reservation. More than 40 searches have been conducted to date in the area, which is home to mountain lions and grizzly bears. To this day, she still has not been found. Number 8. Wyoming. Wyoming has 5 to 7 missing persons for every 100,000. In a well-publicized case, a jogger who vanished 20 years ago remains missing. Wyoming is known for some beautiful wilderness, as well as being home of Yellowstone National Park. It happens to be the least populous state in the country, even though it's the 10th largest by area. However, the state has a moderately high number of missing persons. On July 24, 1997, Wyoming resident Amy Rowe Bechtel taught a weightlifting class. Then, she ran some errands, marking the last time she was ever seen. Authorities reported the 24-year-old then went to the Shoshone National Forest to practice a course of an upcoming 10K run. That night, she was reported missing by her husband, and the following day, her white Toyota Tercel was found unlocked, with the keys still in it. Investigators suspect foul play, but cited lack of evidence to support that theory. It was said these were persons of interest, but no active suspects. Despite extensive investigation work and media coverage, the case remains unsolved. Her husband had her declared dead in 2004. Number 9. Hawaii. More than 3,000 children go missing every year in Hawaii. One 39-year-old man in a remote area disappeared one night in 2015. He was never seen again. It may be seen as an island paradise, but Hawaii is also a place with a high number of missing persons. In fact, more than 3,000 children go missing every year in that state. Officials say 1 out of every 6 of those is recovered by people looking at photos on the internet. 39-year-old Billy Oliveira disappeared from his home in Nahiku, Hawaii, the evening of July 13, 2015. He lived with his grandmother and was last seen going outside to check out a vehicle they heard pull up to the house. He never came back inside and has never been seen again. No one was ever able to discover a reason why Oliveira would have walked away and not returned. He was described as a homebody who was close with his grandmother and always told her where he was going. His home was in a remote area of Hawaii, which made searching for him difficult. His whereabouts are still a mystery. Number 10. Arkansas. In 2014, the FBI's database had 400 missing people listed in Arkansas. In a decades-old unsolved case, a college-bound honor student never made it home from work. Arkansas is known for abundant parks and wilderness. The state is dotted with mountains, caves, rivers, and hot springs. It also had 400 missing people, according to the FBI. In a decades-old case that still remains unsolved, an 18-year-old woman from Pine Bluff, Arkansas went missing on May 9, 1994. Clishendra Hall was ranked at the top of her high school class and was set to start an internship in Boston. Her mother dropped her off at work near their home that morning. After Hall left for work later, she was never seen again. The doctor who she worked for reported she got into a car with someone after work. One theory is Hall tried to walk home and was abducted, and another theory is she may have run away. The doctor was reportedly considered a person of interest. Every year, Hall's family released pink balloons to mark their ongoing quest to find her. Number 11. Vermont. 5 mysterious disappearances occurred in one area of Vermont between 1945 and 1950. A college woman's disappearance took on elements of legend. For almost 100 years, an area of Vermont is called the Bennington Triangle, and it's been legendary for eerie missing persons cases. It's a densely wooded patch of land in the southwest part of the state. It's triangular in shape and encompasses a mountain and several former logging towns. The first disappearance of note took place in 1945. Paul Jean Weldon would be 89 years old today. No one knows for sure if their Vermont resident is alive or dead. She disappeared in the Bennington Triangle in 1946 at the age of 18, and at the time the case took on elements of legend. The Bennington college student enjoyed painting in the outdoors, went out for a walk wearing a red parka and jeans during Thanksgiving break when she stayed on campus. No one knows what happened to her from there on, when she missed classes on Monday and an investigation began. There were reports of her being seen walking and hitchhiking, but nothing was confirmed. A massive investigation ensued. Psychics were called in, but nothing was ever solved. Number 12. Rhode Island. There are 119 people listed as missing in Rhode Island, with some of the cases dating back to the 1970s. 65 of those were people younger than 18 at the time of their disappearance. One Rhode Island cold case is now 25 years old, and people are still wondering just what happened. In June of 1992, Katrina McVeigh, then 27, was last seen getting into a car. No one ever heard from the mother of 3 again. McVeigh's brother searched a riverbank area and found what he thought would be some kind of clothing she would be wearing the night she vanished. Family members believe she was killed by someone close to her and said she had been at the end of a long-standing abusive relationship. McVeigh's mother also received a mysterious call in which she was told, "You will never find her." Number 13. New Jersey. 96 people are currently on the New Jersey State Police missing persons list. One toddler disappeared from his own bed in 2002. On June 23, 2002, a 2-year-old New Jersey boy named Jareen Harris was said to have disappeared from an unlikely place, his own bed. He was last seen there at 1 a.m. and disappeared while his teenage sister, Laelcia Harris, was watching TV downstairs with her boyfriend. The family searched the house before calling the police at 5 a.m. Jareen lived with his grandmother and 8 other people. Authorities do not believe Jareen was taken by 8 of those people or his parents. It is also unlikely that he wandered away from the home due to the fact that he had a broken leg. He was last seen wearing a diaper featuring Muppet characters. Number 14. Delaware. 79% of missing persons cases remain unsolved. One pregnant high school student vanished in 2010 and was never found. A local NBC news outlet reported that 79% of missing person cases in Delaware remain unsolved. One missing Delaware resident is Jantel Puff Johnson, a high school student who disappeared at the age of 15 in 2010. She was 5 months pregnant when she vanished. The last day she was seen by family, Johnson left school early saying she was sick. She was thought to have made it home, but later that afternoon she was nowhere to be found when her mother came to pick her up for a church event. As time went on, she couldn't be located and an investigation began. Her last phone call was placed to an older man assumed to be the father of her baby. Some speculate she left with the man out of her own free will. The man was later found and denied knowledge of what happened to Johnson. So the question remains, did she run away? Or is there more to her disappearance? It's still a mystery. More information on the case can be found on the Where is Jantel website. Number 15. Maryland. 13 Maryland children are currently reported as missing. A pregnant Maryland woman went missing and was considered critically endangered. Population-wise, Maryland ranks 19th in the United States with 6 million residents. The state was identified by Huffington Post as having 5 to 8 missing persons per 100,000 people. A relatively recent case in Maryland involves Ashley Lynn Thomas, who disappeared on November the 11th, 2016. She was pregnant at the time of her disappearance. After her husband reported her missing, investigators soon received several tips that she may have been in the Brooklyn, New York area, but no confirmed sightings occurred. Thomas was last seen wearing a pink hooded sweatshirt, black t-shirt, black maternity pants with blue jeans underneath, multicolored socks, and a pink and white hat. Because she was pregnant, she was considered critically missing and endangered. She has not been found to date. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you enjoyed what you saw, please consider clicking like, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with your friends. The original article that I got the information from was written in 2018, so some of the information may be incorrect as of right now. But if you do have any information of any of these missing people, or any missing people for that matter, please contact your local authorities. Any tip would be wonderful. But I've been just plain creepy, and I'll catch you all in the next video.